I just arrived in country. Can I take test now?
Of course.
I just arrived in country. Can I take test now?
I'm sorry, sir. You have an appointment.
Careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. The residents of Chicago voted overwhelmingly for Joe Biden. In fact, without a single county, this county, Cook County in Illinois, Joe Biden doesn't win Illinois. Donald Trump wins Illinois. This one county accounted for Joe Biden's victory, and this is Cook County in Chicago. Obviously, the big-time, largely populated Chicago county that voted 74% for Joe Biden. And without Chicago, Joe Biden doesn't win the state of Illinois. In fact, without Chicago, no Democrat ever wins the state of Illinois ever again. The entire rest of the state is completely blood red. But with this one teeny little speck, a Democrat is able to win all of the state and all the electoral votes from the state. And so, ladies and gentlemen, Chicago is getting what they deserve, right? Yeah. It's getting Joe Biden's policies. Joe Biden said, I won't build one more foot of that racist wall. Joe Biden said immigrants and migrants can all flood into America. And then Republican governors said, well, we will send them right to Chicago. And that's exactly what's happening. And now Chicago has a panic on their hands. Not only are all of the people that built Chicago and made Chicago wealthy fleeing for states like Florida, but now they are left with hundreds of thousands of criminal migrants who broke our laws, went into this country, and now in a sanctuary city that is Chicago, Chicago is legally required to give housing to these people. Chicago residents rail against planned migrant shelter, but you made Chicago a sanctuary city, and you voted for Joe Biden. Look at this. Brighton Park migrant tent site construction blocked by protesters. Show me the permit. I'm ready to go to jail. Protesters said that more than 10 dump trucks were lined up to enter the site and lay a gravel base, which city officials said is required of any site for the migrant camp, and now they have blocked it. They're blocking. Protect our kids. No shelter in Chicago. We want our district back. Here from CBS, construction of Chicago's migrant tent camp in Brighton Park not started yet, mayor's office said. Uh-oh. Despite the local alderman's claim that the construction of the tent camp for the migrants would begin on Monday, the mayor's office said it would start at a later date. Oh, no. Let me be clear. I'm opposed to the construction of the site. So now it looks like the mayor is lying in Chicago. And people are pissed. The residents of Chicago, specifically the black population of Chicago, which is over-indexed and over-represented, obviously, based on national averages. So it's like Chicago has a very large black population. Those people are saying, hold up, you're not giving us free food, free shelter, free anything. Like, we're barely surviving. Yet migrants get free shelter, free food, they get welcomed into our no, not going to happen. And now it's all boiling over because Chicago is the site of the Democratic National Convention. Listen to this community organizer inside of Chicago. And let me tell you what, this guy's saying, if you think you're going to have a peaceful Democrat convention while our people are starving, stay tuned. This is what the man said at City Hall last week.
You're going to have the same office for us.
That's right.
You don't hear any other community talking this plural talk.
That's right.
They strictly speak for themselves.
You got to.
The Chinese in Chinatown speak for Chinese, right?
That's right.
The Greeks in Greektown speak for Greeks.
That's right.
The Hispanics in Little Village speak for Hispanics.
That's right.
Rightfully so. And black people speak for black people.
Oh, yes, sir.
Black Americans.
Yes, sir.
We're not African American. We're not people of color. We're not black and brown, minority.
That's right.
BIPOC, none of that.
None of that.
People, no, none of that. This is about our people demanding the resources, just as you're giving these people, these newcomers who are walking into this country.
All right, you're right. Thank
And
you.
sister's correct. How do you take a new group of people that have paid no taxes, can't vote, and you put them in front of the voters?
I'm not going to pay them no damn taxes.
And so we say this to you, Mayor, Governor, President. If you think that they're that powerful that you have to acquiesce and answer to them over us, then you tell them to vote for you in these next elections.
That's right.
You tell them to support your Democratic National Convention. And we're going to show you how we feel about the Democratic National Convention.
Turn it out.
Thank you.
If you think you're going to have a peaceful Democratic National Convention in the city of Chicago while our people are starving,
That's right.
stay tuned.
Baby. Oh, baby. And of course, he's not the only one, right? You work for us is what's being chanted at local Chicago community schools as they shut down the schools in order to make room for the criminal migrants. Listen to this.
Somebody told us we have more than few thousand people who signed a signature here who said no. We said no.
Tensions escalate on the southwest side as the city gets closer to housing at least 2,000 migrants at a base camp in Brighton Park. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Scott Schneider.
And I'm Dawn Hasbrook. That encampment is slated for a vacant lot at 38th and California, but a meeting tonight grew heated when residents divided on the plan. Casey Cronus is live from Kelly High School with the latest. Casey.
Hey, Don and Scott. Well, residents say they only found out about the plan when they saw construction crews working at the site. Tonight, they were calling for transparency, but it's something many of them feel they didn't get when the meeting reached capacity and they weren't allowed in. We could even hear the pounding on the doors from inside.
A line down the block shows just how much residents wanted in on the conversation.
Look at that. You voted for Joe Biden. You get what you deserve.
Before the meeting, a small protest of South Shore neighbors demanding the energy put into the migrant issue be put into their neighborhoods.
It is a slap in the face that we as citizens of the United States of America do not have the resources and support, but you're going to bring people who are not citizens here in our community, in our buildings that we pay taxes for, that you took away from us. That is completely unacceptable. We are in a humanitarian crisis right now. The black people in Chicago are bleeding on the streets.
Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson had this to say about the migrant crisis.
We have a responsibility to make sure that families who are seeking love and support here in the city.
Look at that. You voted for him. You're getting what you voted for. This is called democracy. You're getting exactly what you voted for, but a lot of people didn't. Man, like world famous rappers are endorsing Trump. Waka Flocka endorsing Trump. Lil Pump endorsing Trump. Like people all around the country from communities that don't normally back Trump are now backing Trump because of these insane policies. These are policies that are, of course, globalist first. They don't like you. They're disgusted by you and your political power, whether it be white, black, or purple. There's a big Vietnamese community there that was yelling and upset about this. And now in Chicago, you can't even be a public official and give a speech in public without something like this happening.
Right? They're illegal. Right now, Brandon Johnson and the Democrats are criminals. You're locking up guys from smoking and drugs and trafficking people across the thing. The drag government's doing it. Right now. Right. We're going to sue the bosses. We're going to sue the Democrats as civilians because they're the agents representing the people they voted for. The agents. I'm a sports agent. If I don't have represent my clients, they fire me.
Look at them go, baby. Look at the people go. So put on the MAGA hat. Vote Trump. This is the solution to your problems. Donald Trump is not the only solution to your problem, but he's a step in the right direction. The hat stays on. Put on the MAGA hat and vote Trump. Just like tens of thousands of millions of Americans who are sick of what is happening. Not only to this country, but sick of what is happening to Donald Trump. This is Donald Trump in Atlanta. The all-black neighborhoods of Atlanta being cheered as he drives through them, a place of total decay. Vote differently. Do it differently. Ladies and gentlemen. People in Chicago are pissed. One specific woman talking about what she thinks of the Democrat Party has gone particularly viral at this press conference. Pretty amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, it's happening. It's happening. Sister was speaking raw truth. She literally corrected herself in the moment. She went from saying the migrants are illegal foreign nationals, real black Americans are done with open border Democrats, Get ready. Listen to this.
This morning I heard Mayor Brandon Johnson say that the sentiment in the black community is waning. A lie. The sentiment is not waning. We are not okay with you taking our resources and giving them to people who don't live here. As Mark stated before, you are preparing housing for them. One of the reasons that the city of Chicago was able to close 50 schools was because of the black light. And the reason we had a black light was because there is no affordable housing in this city. It is because the city of Chicago shut down the voucher system so that blacks who needed to get affordable housing could not. So they had no choice but to flee to other states. But now you found money for the migrants.
That's right.
We're calling foul. And then another thing you said was that the faith-based leaders were helping to bring around the sentiment. We haven't paid attention to faith-based leaders since Dr. Martin Luther King. And guess what? We're not listening to them now. We understand that they are bought and paid for. We understand that you control the narrative that they are trying to speak about. So let me just say this to you. We're not listening to them the same way we're not listening to you. What you're doing is not okay. And let me just say this other thing. Emerson Park is still closed. And our mayor has decided that because we didn't support migrants coming to our park, we just ain't gonna have a park. I call foul, Mayor. You love to stand around and talk about how you're a black man. That's all you are, is a black man. And we know that all black folks ain't skin folks. And those of us who didn't know that, you're giving us a great lesson. So we thank you for that. No, the sentiment has not changed. We are still for black people. We are still for this city supporting us. We're still for black people getting the same set-asides that these migrants are getting. Oh, excuse me, not migrants, because what they are is illegal foreign nationals. They are not migrants. They are not coming here illegally. So just because you put lipstick on a pig, it's still going to be a pig. So we are not backing down. We were quiet for a minute. I know you thought that the sentiment has changed. It has not. And like I tried to remind people, not only did I support Brandon Johnson, not only did I campaign for Brandon Johnson, not only did I give him my money, but I want you to know two things. Number one, I'm not a fan. I have buyer's remorse. Number two, for any independent candidate in the city of Chicago, any Green Party candidate in the city of Chicago, and any Republican candidate in the city of Chicago, now is your time, because we are done with the Democratic Party. Brandon Johnson, Governor Pritzker, and President Biden have shown us what they think about the black community all over this country. And so we're standing here today to say, okay, if that's what it is, we with it. We don't have to support the Democratic Party. We don't have to continue to support people who are not going to support us. And the Democratic Party here in this city, in this state, and in this country is not supporting us. You got the Republicans on one side and the Democrats on the other side. Guess what? They're part of the same bird.
That's right, with two wings.
So it doesn't matter anymore which party we go with. But I'll tell you this, I'd rather deal with the snake that's outfitting himself of the Republican Party than the snake that's covered up in the Democratic Party.
That's right.
We're not going to continue to stand for this. We're not going to continue to allow our state representatives, our congressmen, our aldermen, and our mayor to let us know that we don't matter. Just like you're going to show us that we're going to matter, we're going to show you. It's going to be a great day in the city of Chicago when a Democratic convention comes here, and then they found out in March that a lot of black voters took Republican ballots.